Money class. This is our segment of Kurt. He's going to talk about rules of thumb, number 16, how to differentiate your business. This video is actually from ACE. Special thanks to Steve Gibson for allowing us to share his course and his videos. So I'll now give the time to Kurt to take away with rules of thumb number 16.
Time for another Rules of Thumb from the Academy of Creating Enterprise. We need to talk about how do you differentiate your business? Be different than your neighbor, your competitor. How do you find that niche when you're selling or doing the exact same thing as the person next to you? This is number 16, differentiate your business of the Rules of Thumb from Act Now. Remember, get started, grow, expand, and always give back, help out, and make the world a better place. So let's start off with a case study. Ramon sells fruit on a street with other fruit vendors. A red post is the only thing that separates his fruit stand from the others. Because you have a successful business in another part of town, he has asked for your advice on what he can do to sell more fruit. So what can Ramon do to sell more fruit? Think about it. Ask others, and we'll give you a few tips here. First of all, it's you, not the fruit. People always whine, complain, it's the same. They're more expensive, they're cheaper, it's the same. No, it's you. So let's talk about a few things that you can do. It doesn't matter if you're exactly the same. You can differentiate yourself. Whether you're selling fruit or identical services, no, differentiate, sell more, become bigger, become better. So the first one is easy. Smile. Have fun and learn to praise. Greet customers with a smile. If they feel better about themselves, that you can get them to smile, it's very contagious. Studies show that a smile in retail, what you're doing, increases sales 20%. It's contagious. It makes people feel good. It makes you different than the angry, bitter person next to you. Nobody wants to go buy something from an angry, bitter, negative, pessimistic person that sucks the life out of you. You know, like Aunt Edna, right? She comes to a family gathering and you don't even talk to her and she sucks the life out of you. Learn to smile, have fun, add some humor. When people laugh, smile, they like you more, they trust you more, they want to come back. They're hungry for it because the world can be a very negative place. And then praise, which costs you nothing. You can praise their outfit. You can praise their smile. You can praise something about them. It's so simple. It's so easy. This costs you nothing, but people want to come back to you because they feel better. They feel good. The one about the customer experience. How can you enhance it? More attractive displays. Instead of putting all the fruit in one basket, make it more colorful, something that catches their eye, adding something like flowers or greenery. What can you do with the display? What can you do with the packaging? Maybe it's a better bag or a better basket. Maybe you could offer to cut the fruit, add something to the fruit, add recipes to what they're doing. What can you do to add value without increasing cost to your customer? And then leverage your marketing. Ask your customers to be more loyal, to refer people, reward them for being repeat customers. Let them know on social media about the quality and maybe freshness of their fruit. Something unique you're offering that day. Contests, giveaways, special deals, community events, things that you're doing. Let them know it doesn't cost you anything, or at least it doesn't cost you much to leverage your marketing. And final one, differentiate your marketing or USP. That's a unique selling proposition. What makes you unique? What makes you different? Don't think you're the same as everyone else. Is it quality? The freshness of your fruit? Maybe it only comes from local farmers. Maybe it's organic. Maybe it's top of the line. It's high quality. Maybe you offer different varieties. What's your story? What makes you unique? What makes you different? Differentiate your product. So let's hear from another voice, a video from Ramiz Hilo that gives you another perspective on how to differentiate your marketing.
Do you find it a bit difficult to differentiate your product and service? Do you find your customers many times not really appreciating the value that you want to bring forth because they compare you with a cheaper competitor out there? Well, this video is going to give you some simple tips and ideas of how to overcome that and be able to sell the value that you want to sell. So here's a small story for you. I just came back from Italy, and I spent some time in Florence. And of course, you have to do some shopping there, and I walked into the leather market. So as you can see in the picture, the leather market looks like a leather market. There's plenty of bags. They all look almost identically the same. So what did I do? Of course, I'd walk into the store. I'd ask. This is what happened with one reed merchant. I asked her and said, look, it was one of the first ones. I said, you know, I really don't have much time to waste, okay, and would love to buy this bag. I brought him a bag. I said, but you know that I'm going to be walking throughout this entire street asking because the bag exists. I'm going to ask every single person. I promise that if you save my time and if you give me the cheapest price right now, I'm going to still walk around, okay? But if you give me the cheapest price, I'll come back and buy it from you. Does that sound familiar? Do your customers tell you, look, if you give me the cheapest price, I'll still go look around, and if you have the cheapest, I'll come back and buy from you? Well, anyway, that's what I did with this poor guy. So he gives me the price from 190 euros for the bag. He gets down to 110, drops down like almost 80 euros. I thought that was cool. So I keep walking and nothing came close. But then I walked to this one store. And when I start asking, the gentleman comes out. You can see the store, how it's hidden in the back. There was this one shack up front. I start interacting with the guy, and somebody says, oh, the owner is inside. Why don't you follow me, go inside. So here I go. I go inside of this leather store. And I start my speech the same way I started with the other guy. Look, I'm looking for a bag, and if you can give me the cheapest price, I'll make sure I come back and I buy it from you. Now, the owner of the store asked me, said, you know, sir, I appreciate you sharing this with me, and may I ask who is the bag for? I said, well, it's a gift I want to give to a colleague of mine. He goes, how important is your colleague? I said, he's really important. He goes, well, you might want to consider the type of bag that you give him, because you can go out there. He said to me, something good isn't cheap and something cheap isn't good. It's like, you know, converting the converted, right? I said, this sounds familiar. Let me hear the rest of what he's got to tell me. He goes, if it's really an important person that you might want to consider, if you give him a cheap bag, or if you give him a bag that's not going to really do what it's supposed to do, how long do you think it's going to last him, and how will this reflect upon you? And I thought about it. I was like, okay, this guy has got a point. He goes, let me show you something. He goes, takes one of the other looking bags, and he brings it, and he goes, let me show you what's on the inside of the bag. And he shows me the inside lining, which looked very acrylic, very cheap, and very whatever. He then looks at the strap. He goes, let me show you the strap. And the outside looks like leather, but the inside doesn't even have a lining. He goes, if you put this on your shoulder, what do you think is going to happen to the color of the leather? He goes, you can go out there and keep checking different bags and different prices. But again, it's really not about what you pay. It's about what you get. So I said, how much? He goes, well, this is 250 euros. I was like, geez, 250 euros is a lot of money. He goes, well, okay, fine. If it's really what you want, I'll find a way to work with you. I'll give it to you today for 220. He didn't go from 190 to 110 to 20. And here I was, just debating and thinking. And bottom line, I got it for 200. But conclusion is I ended up paying double what I thought I should have paid for a leather bag, because this gentleman understood my need, understood how important it was that I wanted to get a bag that is going to actually do the job and not break down and not have issues on it as as I give this gift to somebody and it ends up coming back and blowing up in my face. Now, he did say something to me which is very cool. He said, you know, there is a market for the cheap bag and there is a market for my bag. I've been making bags for the last 70 years, me and my family, and there's 100 ways to make a leather bag cheaper, but in our business, we've chosen not to do that, and we've chosen to give, if you buy the bag from me, I guarantee you it's gonna get you the results that you wanna get. What a great, and he had such a passion discussing and sharing this point with me. So two things out of this conversation. So one thing is, when you're presenting your product or service to your customers, do you have something to compare it with? Do you have something to compare it with? If it's a physical product, great. If it's not, still you could have ways of maybe testimonials or people that were happy with the service or not happy with the service, or things like that that you can bring into the conversation. And next is, if you ever gonna drop down on certain pricing. Now, again, are you dropping down drastically? Are you going from 0 to hero? Are you going from 100 to 50 within just a few minutes or a few seconds in this matter? Or is it really hard for you to give away that discount because you know you do have certain costs and you do value the product and service that you are offering, and you believe in it that it has that price? So again, this is just a simple thing, because this one leather merchant reminded me of how important it is to go back to basics, and those basics are drop down slow, and more important, you must believe in your product and service and always present and compare prices before you go into offering your just price, selling based on price.
There you have it. Be different. Don't get stuck in that trap. Well, I'm the same. Everyone's doing the same. No, you can differentiate your product. Let's get into some expert advice here. In many countries, a customer can walk down any large street in any town and find dozens of small businesses that look exactly the same and offer the exact same products. This practice is especially true with simple businesses that are easy to understand and duplicate, and it often leads to price wars, which businesses compete for customers based solely on who can offer the lowest price. In order to prevent price wars and attract customers away from other businesses, you must be able to offer something unique to customers, something that can make your business or products different from the other businesses and products in the area. And let me just say, anybody can fight on price. It takes talent and skill not to have the cheapest price. So what can we do here? Well, first of all, it's going to be that mindset that you can do something different, that you can offer more, that you're not exactly the same as the person next to you. Think to yourself, why do you go to certain stores, locations? Why do you buy from certain people? And add that to your business. Others would include differentiate your business based on location. Maybe moving your fruit stand even just a block away from the other fruit-selling businesses might put your business in a new business district that doesn't yet have any fruit sellers. When moving a business to differentiate it from the competition, look for a location that is more easily accessible than your competitors' locations. Perhaps find a site that is closer to a parking area or a bike path so customers can see and access a fruit stand more conveniently. Make it easier, build more loyalty. Ask yourself, what can you do to make buying your fruit or whatever it is easier for your customer? Then next, differentiate based on products. Carrying a wide variety of fruits, new products, fruit salads, selling complements or packaging products in unique ways might entice customers to visit your fruit stand or to buy more from your store than they might usually do. For example, even a jewelry business. Higher quality, personal engraving, ethically sourced. What can you do to focus on quality to attract customers, pay more for the best? Then, of course, you can differentiate on your niche. Can it be organic fruit, organic food? Can it be something unique about your product? Do you provide the most incredible service? Maybe it has the latest feature. Maybe it's just local produce. For example, a coffee shop that roasts its own beans, buys them locally, they're organic, provides different flavors than most coffee shops, could be something that's like a unique selling proposition, a niche. So remember, differentiation's an ongoing process. It's not going to happen overnight. Look at your competitors, adjust your strategies. What makes you unique in the market? Another way to differentiate yourself is customer service. Doing small things like delivering fruit to a customer's home, offering services with products, or developing a reputation for delivering on time can help boost sales tremendously. It could be a bakery that gives you 13 pastries instead of 12. Maybe it's a store that says we're going to be there at 10 a.m. and they're at 9 a.m. Maybe it's a restaurant known for giving you a little extra something, and instead of 10 shrimp they promise, they're going to give you 12. When you provide outstanding customer service, it builds loyalty, creates new customers, and helps you build a positive brand image. So think about what makes your business different. What's your competition doing to make their business different? To differentiate your business based on locations, products, service, your niche, what can you do different? And next one we've talked a little bit about is how to differentiate based on people skills. We already talked about smiles, but we could talk about being friendly and increasing your people skills, becoming more likable. You talk about a skill that makes a huge difference, it's your people skills. And no one's arrived here. This is something that we can all work on, improve our people skills, become more likable. Because getting the people that are like you to like you is very easy. But people have different styles and personalities. You have to adapt to them. When you look at the world of people skills and persuasion, you need to adapt to people how they like to be persuaded. You need to adapt to them how they like to be liked. I love what Southwest Airlines does. They don't care about your background, your degree. They just hire nice, friendly people. They can trade on the rest. They can do the rest. They just want nice, friendly people. So the first one is use their name, repeat their name, know their name, remember their name. And this is not a function of having a good brain, a good memory. It's just a function of caring. You could develop skills and techniques to remember people's names. If you see them coming to your cart, to your store, to your area, and you call them out by name with a smile, hello, game changer. In fact, studies on the brain show that when you mention their name, it triggers a pleasure center in their brain. Remember their name. Find out a way. Write it down. Create a memory trick. You figure it out, but you need to remember their name. You want them to come back? You remember their name. And when you do that, they will like you more, they will trust you more, and they will come back more. The next one's just learning how to listen. What do they want? Don't pretend you know what they want. Listen to what they want. That's a huge complaint with anybody selling anything, is they think the person's going to tell them what they need, what they want. And you're probably right most of the time. I'll give you that. But if you take a little time to listen, to show them that you care, to show them that you're there to solve their problem, to give them the best service possible, maybe even listen to things that shouldn't even matter in your life about them, their family, their problems. Hey, when you can listen, they have a listening ear, they will come back. You are different than the other people in the market. To show empathy, to show that you care. They're not getting that from anybody else. When you could do that, now they're going to come back to you and buy exclusively from you. Then, of course, we have eye contact. So simple, but we rarely do it. Especially if you have an electronic device. They're there. They want you to treat them like the most important person on the earth, but your cell phone buzzes, your laptop dings, and you look away. You just told them, I don't care about you. This is more important. We're programmed that way. Turn it off. Change your brain and learn to give them eye contact. So that brings us to our fable for this rule of thumb about the baker and the identical loaves. So in a busy town lived a baker named Brutus. Brutus was known for his delicious bread, particularly his sourdough loaves. His bread was always good, perfectly baked, golden browned, great crust, and great flavor. However, Brutus at his bakery was struggling to stand out from the competition because Everyone can sell bread. Is it that much better? Is it worth that price? Because that market square was overflowing with bakeries, and they all seemed to sell the identical loaf of bread. Customers, of course, are overwhelmed by choices, and most of the time they went for the most convenient bakery or one with the lowest prices. One day, a wise old merchant named Doofus visited Brutus's bakery, and he admired the bread but noticed that Brutus's predicament. He says, "My friend, your bread's the best. It's excellent, but it lacks a unique identity. How can you convince your customers to choose your loaves over the others?" So Brutus scratched his head and says, "I know I make the best bread in town." Doofus smiled and says, "It's true, but do your customers know that? Do you have a special recipe, a unique baking method? Perhaps you could offer unusual flavors or bread shapes." Brutus pondered Doofus's words. He began to experiment with different flours, incorporating local grains and herbs. He created unique shapes, such as braided loaves, flower-shaped rolls. He even started offering bread-making classes to his customers. Soon, Brutus's bakery began to stand out. Customers were drawn to the unique flavors, the beautiful shapes, and the engaging experiences. Word of Barnaby's distinctive bread shape, his flavor, his training, and his bakery thrived. Hey, what's the moral here? Everyone sells things that seem similar to others, but it's crucial for you to differentiate your business from the others. Unique products, services, people skills, experiences, things we've talked about that you could do to attract customers and build a loyal following. So what's your homework? Write a plan with at least 3 ideas you had during this training that you will do to make your business different from your competition. What's your unique selling proposition? What can you do in your niche? How can you improve your customer service? How can you improve your people skills? How can you make your products different? How can you bundle them in a way that other people aren't doing? Can you change your location, your shipping, your delivery? There are many things that you can do to differentiate yourself from your competition. So that's rules of thumb number 16. Differentiate your business with the Academy for Creating Enterprise. Do it. Make it happen. Do your homework. Keep listening to these courses. It'll change your life. It'll change your family. It'll change your community. And it'll change the world.
All right. Thank you, Kurt, for sharing. Let's take off Josh's sharing here.